This is Mike Leland with channel WMWS, channel 13. I just had a private screening here with Marywicca, the writer and director of Which Way. I had a private screening of the feature film's trailer, and I was lucky enough to get a first-hand sneak peek of what is about to be released here for actual film footage, and it's very exciting. So Mary, thanks for joining me today.
I'm glad to have you aboard again. I know you've been with us throughout some taping, kind of snuck around the set a little bit and caught some people off guard, which is great. They've been keeping their secrets pretty good.
Well, that's one of the things that I really enjoyed about this process, was that you were able to allow me and my crew to come on set and try not to interrupt, but to try to get a real feel for each step of the process, and seeing things come together in the trailer was really exciting. So thank you for that opportunity.
Well, we were glad to have you. We've got some good response on the website, and that you were sneaking around the set, which, you know, I was busy up here doing whatever we were doing on the set and didn't know you were here.
Well, good. I'm glad. That was part of the plan. One thing I wanted to do today was take a couple minutes and have you kind of expand upon the history or the background of the film for our viewers to learn more about the history. Tell us about how you formed Moondragon Films.
Moondragon Film is an LLC. Moondragon, spelled M-U-N-E, is from a time in my life when my daughter and I were separated during a very nasty custody battle. And her stepmother wasn't allowing her contact with me, and it was just a really brutal fight. We stayed in touch through an email that I set up for her called Moondragon. You know, when she was little, she would look up in the sky, and we'd, you know, see shapes and forms and stuff, and she saw a moon, a dragon in the moon, which, you know, was something that I also saw, which kind of dear to my heart. And so we put that email together, you know, as a way to stay in touch, and just kept us close. You know, she's grown and she's got a child of her own, and, you know, she's the most precious thing to me in this life. So, you know, when you look at production companies, they seem to always have a significance, a meaning somewhere in the background, and that's the meaning for mine. That's
great. And when did you start to get the vision for this specific project under Moondragon Films?
Well, it will be actually in February of 2010. It will be 1 year exactly that the concept of the film became a substance. It became an obsession. You know, it started out with a story that I collected some information on a house that I used to live in. It was a haunted house, and it had a graveyard up in the backyard, and it was a very quaint old graveyard, you know, 18th, 19th century gravestones, and it was just a family plot. Not very many people up there. It was, you know, you'll see some of the film footage that's the actual place.
Oh wow.
And that house was haunted, so I did a little research on the history of these people, you know, trying to figure out why was it still being haunted, why were they still here. And it just, you know, I took this story, I had to change some names, change some dates, change a little, you know, a few little significant things that, you know, makes the story a little more creative. So it is fictionalized, but it does base from that particular family.
Wow. Because a lot of the, you know, as the idea for the storyline starts to come together, you know, just being on set, I had a feeling that came from true events.
Yeah, some of the things that you'll see in the film do come from experiences. You know, either myself or the character themselves. They've drawn from that experience. You know, they've taken whatever they've learned through me, through themselves, and we've enhanced it. I was very fortunate that that this cast has allowed me to push them as far as they could possibly go. I have terrified the hell out of some of them. They're going to need some therapy when this is done.
Well, let's I'm sure that there's a psychologist on set too. I just didn't.
Actually, yes, I have a volunteer.
Now, that's one thing I noticed when I was here. One of the times that I was here, there was I was able to have an interview with an actor and an actress that they seemed as though they were really preparing for a serious scene coming up. And how did I just got a sense that you had a very unique approach to directing them for those roles. How did that work?
Yes, actually you came in the day we were doing basement scenes, and that was a very intense moment. I actually had the two actors isolate themselves and get into the characters. You know, I explained to them some of the significance to each of the scenes, that this is actually from an experience that someone very close to me has had. And they just got into the gruesome terror of it and just kind of went with it. And of course, being locked in the dark doesn't help.
That, I can imagine that's pretty scary.
Yeah, I feel a little guilty, terrifying, but I did get what I was looking for in the film.
So you tried to have the actor or the actress almost put themselves in the shoes of the person who had previously experienced this.
Yes.
That's exciting.
Yes, and I believe they are recovered.
Well, good. I was wondering, when I was here, there seemed to be a certain aura or a vibe that I caught on set with the cast members. How did you create that, or was that just me, or was there really a vibe?
I think that was a miracle all in itself, just from the very conception of the film.
Okay.
Just from the very beginning of the story, I had visualized. I mean, I was truly obsessed with this film. I'd be driving, I'd miss exits, I'd end up in town and not know what I was doing there. You know, and like, I'd miss all of my turns. I'd be totally lost in a very recognizable place because I am so obsessed with seeing this film in my head. And I would loop back and play it again in my head. This is how I want to see it. And I saw the characters in my head, who I wanted to play each character. So when I did the casting call, it was like I summoned something out there. This is what I need.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and one of my most favorite sayings that you'll hear me say a lot is, I always get what I want because I never ask for more than I need. It happens that way so many times, and it's happened that way with this film on so many levels that it is so true. That whole statement right there is so true. I have gotten everything that I've wanted so far from this film and from the characters that I've chosen. They actually came to me. The ones that I had visualized applied to an ad that I put out there, for a casting call.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone that walked through that door that I visualized, this is my Lisa, this is my Chrissy, this is absolute Jason, I knew when
Sure.
they walked in the door, and I gave them a choice. What part do you want to read for? They gave me the answer that I, in my heart, wanted them to give me.